Welcome back to another episode of the
Friendship University Podcast.
You know, the podcast where we come here week over week over week, trying to encourage you all to be better people, because people are our greatest resource, and we want you to be the most optimal resource you can be to others and receive the most optimal resources from others. I'm joined for another episode with the lovely Tarrah Coble as my
Don't
co-host.
say my whole government name.
I am so sorry.
No,
it's on your socials. Which is interesting. FYI, just a shameless plug. Go follow all 22 pages, 22 of her social
Literally, why do I have so many pages?
She has a page for everything.
Do
you separate it? Which
I do.
Which I appreciate, because sometimes I don't like going to people's pages and it's like scattered.
All these things.
Yeah, it's like just separate it
For
so
my
I can know what I
multi-potentialites and neurodivergent people. How y'all do that? Do y'all put it all together, or do y'all separate y'all stuff?
I have been thinking about that because I do a lot of our podcast stuff on my personal page, and I kind of want to get out of that, even though I really don't post to my personal page really that much anyway. So
what's the problem if you don't post it anyway?
Because what happens if I want to start posting?
That's true.
And
if you
like,
want to,
I don't know.
What would you post?
I don't know. You trying to say I have no life? Not what would you post?
No, you live your life, but you don't live it on the internet.
Yeah.
You're very much a very close to your car's chest person.
I mean, I do document. I don't know. I don't mind. I think it's cool to have a digital archive of sorts. But what I really would like to get back to is photo albums. I think there's something to be said
100%.
about that for
That's
sure.
Special.
Over the holidays when I was home, my auntie is really big on taking photos. So every time we were together, and she has just books and books and books of photo albums, dozens.
It's so precious.
It's very precious. And when I went home over the holidays, we were over there and we went through a couple, and it was just so
fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was nostalgic. It really, gave you that warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, I think that's way different than being on the internet. I think we do need to have those physical.
Yeah,
because
there's something to be said for physical copies.
What happens when the internet, if something happens, then you lost all your pictures?
Exactly. And I do appreciate, like I said, the digital archives, because I have digitized on flash drives photo albums for my mom for holidays and stuff. But because you just never know, you
just
never flood or fire, something can happen, it can destroy it. So you do need backup, but it's just, I am so analog. I love physical paper, writing, notes, and I know the environment and all that. I mean, the world is what it is. Everything's killing the environment these days. I don't know what to tell you.
I love when people write me notes.
You do? I follow this page of this couple. The mom writes notes in the kids'
oh my God,
lunches.
I think that's so sweet.
It's so sweet. And one time the mom was out of town and the dad had to make the lunches, and the daughter came home and she was like, "You didn't put a note in there." Mom writes us notes.
That's so sweet.
That is very sweet. I think that is sweet too, right? I do like notes. Let us know if you're analog. Do you like notes?
But I'm not a card person.
Not a card person.
No, I want you to write me a note. Just a note.
What if I write in the card?
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love cards. I love notes. But when somebody just writes you a little note on a sticky note or something, put in, it's
probably
so
because
sweet.
in your mind you're thinking you thought of me in that moment.
Yeah, so it's spur the moment.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's so sweet.
I can see that. I do like notes. I still write letters. I send letters to people.
4-page letter. Ooh, you romantic. You spray your little perfume on this?
Little perfume, so they don't forget. Just give you a little something.
I dated when I was young. I dated a guy who used to give me cards all the time. And it was so sweet, though. It was these long cards. They were very long and had...
the personal note he would put in there, or the card
itself?
itself?
The cards were these emotional cards. I don't know where he was getting them from. Yeah, it was just oh, wow. I didn't even know I liked that. till you know.
So you got it.
Yeah.
You know now they have it. They have certain systems now where you can make your own card. Like you can put your own personal messages in them.
I love it.
Put images on them.
I love that.
Print
That's
it
so
off,
sweet.
all kind of stuff.
That's why you have to find out what your person like, because you think you got to spend all this money and stuff.
You don't.
They might just want a handwritten 5-cent note.
And that's it. That makes me think about. So I guess not recently, but recently I watched over Blackish.
Okay.
The series, and I don't know if you watched the show. Did you watch the show?
I didn't really watch Blackish like that.
Well,
here and there.
Let us know if you watched Blackish. You know, it came out at this point almost a decade ago. But there is a part in the series where the main couple, Tracy Ellis Ross and Anthony Anderson, are going through a rough patch in their marriage, and they're just not communicating. And all she says that she wants for certain things, like her anniversary and Valentine's Day, are flowers. She just wants fresh flowers.
Aww.
But he buys her these exaggerated gifts, chains, all this, and she's like, "That's nice, but that's really you're just not hearing me. That's not what I want. I just want flowers." And long story less long, they get through the rough patch and make up, and the next thing rolls around and he gives her flowers, and it's like the sweetest thing ever.
Is all
to her. That's all she ever wanted was fresh roses. So you have to know what people desire, because
what do you desire as a friend? Like, how can a friend make you feel special?
How can a friend make you feel special? I love that question. Yeah, drop in the comments what you like, how you like your friend to show up to make you feel valued.
How can your friend make you feel special?
Yeah, that's good. I love that. So
you didn't answer my question.
Oh, you're asking me? I thought you were asking them. You're asking me.
I'm asking them.
It's
and
like
you.
Not rhetorical. It's rhetorical, but not rhetorical. Got it. My bad. You know, I am kind of along the same vein of I like to feel like you thought about me, like, oh, I saw this and it reminded me of you.
Oh, okay.
I am really big on people remembering things that I said and callbacks to it, right? So if I talk about, like, man, I love this film, like, for instance, we were in a wedding together a long time ago with a mutual friend, and do you remember she gave us, like, our favorite DVD and, like, packages to ask us? Do you remember that?
Don't.
She's been in, like, 1,000 weddings. Y'all know 33 Dresses?
Oh my
She's
God.
63.
Like,
oh my God. So many weddings. She's been in more weddings than me, which is crazy.
I literally started telling people no, and I have turned down multiple weddings. Like, no, I'm not gonna be able to be.
Being in a sidebar, being in a wedding is a labor of love. It's huge. Expensive. It's way bigger than people, I think, imagine. It's a money, time, commitment. Like, you buying dresses, shoes, you get your hair, makeup done, manicure, pedicure. If it's not in your city, you have to travel.
You have to travel.
You gotta. It is just like
it's just a lot.
Yeah, it's a labor of love. I am a proponent for not just asking people to be in your wedding just to be in it. Like, they really need to be close to you. I feel like
we need somebody to walk with.
Right, we need somebody
my
such
nephew.
and such. No, you paying for my dress, my shoes, if you need it. You know,
I've never been in a wedding where they paid for anything, like paid for the dress or anything.
Oh, I've been in a wedding
we
where
always had to pay for everything ourselves.
Most of the weddings I've been in, I've had to pay for. I've been in one wedding where they paid for the accommodations, so they paid for the room.
That's nice.
They paid for the room. They did not pay for your flights if you were coming in, but they did pay for the block of rooms, which was big and nice. And then I've been in a wedding where they paid for beauty, so they paid for the hair and makeup.
Oh, that's nice.
And
did you pay for hair makeup for my wedding? I don't think you did.
I don't think I did. I don't remember. I don't even remember how my hair was at your wedding. How did you have us have our
hair? It was
hair?
Cute. It was just up, I think. Down. I think yours was like half up, half down or something. You looked gorgeous.
Your wedding was nice though. Your dresses were very flattering for all body types.
Yeah, because you got to pick whichever one you wanted.
Yeah, she had like three or four different variations of the dress, and you got to pick which was flattering. Because that's another thing too. People be picking dresses, and it's not. I have, if you're a little bit more busty, a little bit more. It's all about
them feeling comfortable.
Yeah, and I don't think people think about that because it's like it's the bride's day, which I get. It's your big day,
you want your friends to feel
but you also want and it shows up in photos too, and just like the way people interact.
Yeah, for sure. We don't want you feeling all weirdo.
Yeah,
but in Africa,
I love a good African wedding.
Nobody does bridesmaids or wedding guests like an African wedding.
I'm gonna say African and Indian. Those are some fun. I mean, and they go all out. And it's beautiful.
Can somebody invite me? I want to go.
I have an African wedding I have to go to later
I
this
have
year.
never
I'm
been to an
excited.
African wedding, and I really feel like I want to throw some money and cut a rug. Please
It's
invite
so
me.
fun, and so I've had the pleasure of going to an African American wedding and a traditional wedding, and it was so fun. I've been to
Some
an Indian wedding too. I was in an Indian wedding. We had to wear
Oh wow, you're so
saris.
cultured.
You know,
Diversity.
That's just my circle of friends. Which is, I also think about like some of the weddings I've been in. I'm not as close to those people. Some of those people anymore.
I
It's
know, it's
crazy.
so
It's like,
sad.
I was so, but we talked a little bit about you get married and dynamics change
It
a
really
little
does.
bit.
It
Life
really
happens.
does.
Life comes at you fast.
I'm
So,
not married anymore.
yet, ladies and gentlemen,
Single.
yes,
Just in case y'all were wondering.
just she's single and ready to mingle.
She's also single.
And ready to mingle. Yes. Welcome back. As we said, you know how we do. We're gonna hop into our icebreaker, our game of the week. I liked us doing the friendship dilemmas, so I want to go back
This
to
stumps me every
that.
time.
I liked them, so
All right,
I thought of a couple of more
let's
that
do
I
this.
felt like would be interesting.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I thought about this because our last episode we were talking about the exes and their off limits. If you missed that, go pop over.
Okay.
Save it to your watch history so you can watch it later. So the dilemma is you find out your friend is secretly dating your ex
Ooh.
who hurt you deeply. They haven't told you yet. Do you confront them, cut ties, or try to understand?
Oh, I'm confronting.
Ah!
I'm the
Who
first
do you
thing.
think you are?
I'm confronting. I need to understand what's happening. How did this come to be? And if I'm probably gonna cut ties.
Confront, then cut.
Yeah.
Double C.
I just got to
C
get it off
squared,
my chest.
so they know.
I got to say something.
Okay.
Something must be said.
I
And then I'm probably gonna just be like, you can have it.
That trust. We also a few episodes talked about
can have it.
rebuilding trust after betrayal. That may be a betrayal that you just
And y'all kept it from me. You didn't even come to me
you
and
didn't
ask.
even come to me and ask.
How would you feel? You did it and behind my back.
Which makes me think that
You
knew
knew
it
you
was wrong.
You knew you was wrong.
Because you don't not keep things from people unless you know it's an issue. So why would you do that? Like, why? My thing is, if you're thinking about somebody who hurt you deeply, I'm thinking in my mind, and this was somewhat of a significant relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
Now,
they can't hurt you deeply
can't-
if they don't matter.
if they're insignificant.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
it's like, and you know this, right? I've probably shared somewhat intimate details with you at certain levels about what transpired, how I feel. And I, in my mind, can't fathom, one, you thinking that's okay. Like, that I would be okay with that. And that you feel like it's okay.
You knew you was wrong.
And two, you thinking you're the exception. Like, you see how this person did me.
Enjoy,
and you thinking you're better.
Enjoy.
You know what? I'm
Have
good,
a time.
love.
Have the
Enjoy.
time of your life.
I'm good, love. Enjoy. Like,
Have the time you deserve.
half the day you deserve, really. Half the time you deserve.
Enjoy yourself.
I can't. Yeah, I would too confront.
100%.
I am a proponent though for talking about stuff, so I don't do really the ghosting thing often. I really don't ghost unless I feel like it's necessary. Like if someone's so obnoxiously over, like they just keep going, then I might ghost because it's like I'm not gonna get anywhere. Or if I say like I really don't want to take this relationship further and you keep reaching out, then I might just have to ghost you.
Wow.
But if it's a relationship, especially one I care for, I'm going to have the conversation. Yeah. So I'm big on confrontation. Not harsh. I think we're very scared of that word sometimes, confrontation. It makes it feel like, oh, they like drama and all that. But confrontation doesn't necessarily equate to drama.
It doesn't.
That just means you're facing whatever issue head on.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And if you come to it with a level head and the right communication, as we talked about a couple of episodes ago, then it could be edifying,
Oh, it's going to be edifying. Give you a piece of my
It's
mind.
gonna edify you right on uppercut.
Edify you right out that
Right
door.
down into that traffic, oncoming traffic.
You know, some people need to be addressed.
Some people think that's okay.
Some people and some things need to be addressed, but you knew you was wrong, which is why you didn't tell me. And you're supposed to be my friend.
Yeah.
So I need to address you because the loyalty is between you and I.
Yeah,
he is, like,
and he's not even
a
in the
factor.
picture, and I know he don't even have that capability, right?
I don't care what he got going on. You and me, we have.
We're supposed to have a mutual respect and loyalty and trust between one another, and you went against that.
You broke the girl code.
You went against the family, and you never go against the family.
Never go against the family.
Like, you're not supposed to do that. You broke girl code. I have never thought that was okay. Let me just be clear. I really have never thought it was okay to date somebody's ex.
It was a girl I knew. Okay, this happened twice. We must attract the same type of men.
Or she wants to be you.
No, I don't think that. She's very for her own self, right? But we just attract the same type of men. No, men that liked her also liked me.
Are you kind of similar personalities?
Could be. Our birthdays around the same time, and we have like similar features.
Okay.
I wouldn't say similar features, but she's pretty in her way, and I'm pretty in my way. I like her personally. I think she's a great person, and so she, somebody who I asked her because we were in close proximity. I asked her. I said, "What do you think of this guy?" Oh, she was like, "Oh, he tried to talk to me." I was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Did you talk to him?" She was like, "No." I was like, would you be okay if I talk to him? I don't want to. She was like, "Oh, no, absolutely. Like, we never kicked it or nothing."
Which is nice. And it's nice that you even thought to ask that. You know what I mean?
And then there's another guy, that I
thing.
met later on. And I was like, "You know her?" I was like, "Yeah. We probably went out on a couple of dates." So then I had to go back and
ask again.
And so we weren't in this close proximity anymore. But I still went back and asked her again. I said, "Hey, this guy is trying to talk to me." She was like, "Oh, we went on a couple of dates." I was like, "How do you feel about? Are you okay with me talking to him? Like, how do you? Did you like him? Did you?" She was like, "Oh, girl, no, it's fine." I was like, "Are you sure? Like, are you sure? Sure?" And she was like, "Yeah, no, it's fine." I was like, "Okay." But if she would have said no because of the proximity and like what we've experienced together, we weren't the best of friends or anything, but we had our times where we were close. And I just, if she would have said no, I wouldn't have talked to him.
Yeah, that shows respect, and I love that you brought up you asked. She was honest. There's a flip side to this too, because sometimes people do ask and they say they're okay with it, and they're really not. You have to be honest. That's on you at that point. It's on you if somebody asks you and you like, "No, girl, go for it." Like that episode of Living Single in like the first season where Max dates Regine's ex-boyfriend. She's like, "I asked you," and she was like, "And you took that as a yes?" Yeah, girl, you said go for it. You can't. Yeah, it's on you now.
It's on you
have
now.
Lied about the way you actually feel about it.
Yeah, because I asked.
Honest. Yeah.
It just so happens, I guess we were similar. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Which was probably like, dang. She probably at some point was like,
maybe
dang.
Maybe y'all attract the same, and you all are both interested in the same type of guy.
Could be. We have the same types.
Yeah, yeah, it could be that.
It's
so.
weird.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I've only had. Maybe one or two instances where there was a situation where I went back and asked someone. One time the person did say no. The girl was like, "No."
Did you listen?
I listened.
Oh, okay.
Like, okay.
Good for you.
Now I ain't gonna hold you. I probably still did chat with them for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
But I backed off.
You backed off. Okay.
I was like, I gotta stop because I don't want to start like you even more. And
then that would be a problem.
And contrary to popular belief, you don't just fall in love.
You don't.
It takes time. It's a choice.
That's good.
Because people try to be like, it just happened.
It just happened. You think I
wanted this? You did.
It just happened. Yeah, you did.
You put the time, you put the effort in. What do you think if you're spending time with people and you're in close proximity?
You looked at the phone and you dialed their contact.
You already had bubbly guts when you was texting them.
You was sending emojis.
You seen the bubbles back. You seen the little dots. They're responding. You're giddy already. What do you think is gonna happen? It's just gonna magnify itself the closer you get to them.
Closer I get to you.
So yes, you have to be intentional. And then I think the other
Do
time,
y'all back off? Like, what's happening when someone says, "Yeah, please don't talk to my ex"? Like, do you back off, or do you just do what you want to do?
Is it even a situation where
even
you're
ask?
like, yeah? Do you even ask, or is it like I know some people who is like, I'm not gonna touch it regardless. I don't care. Especially when we were younger.
Yeah.
It was like, now we're a little older and the pools get a little
Smaller.
smaller. So it's like you ask and you like, okay, yeah, girl, you okay with that? But when you're younger, for sure, it's like
For sure.
I don't have to date you.
Definitely not.
Even like in friend groups, I really wasn't a proponent of that. Going around in circles, everybody dating each other.
That is so gross to me.
You're really not friends. We had a conversation about true platonic friendship. And if you're dating and doing all that,
I can't imagine talking to somebody you talked to in the past. But
and then y'all in a friend group together. Like, I hated that trope that they put in Friends when they had girl Rachel dating Joey.
Ew.
And she had a baby with Ross, and Ross and her had this
That was so strange.
big past. It was so strange. I was like,
so
why are y'all putting this in
strange.
here? That's so stupid.
They
Like,
should have never dated.
why are you doing this?
So
They're
weird.
all like, it's a cesspool. Anyway, let us know in the comments what your take on this week's dilemma. Are you touching it? Are you confronting it? Are you walking away? Are you saying I don't care? Do you, girl? Are you Tony Braxton it? You know how she was like, who do you think I am? Don't you know that he was my man? Factually, he wasn't man enough for me.
I love your Tony Braxton impression.
I really like Tony Braxton.
I really enjoy it. I feel like that Michelle Obama, she'd be like, that meme, she'd be like, she'd be like,
I'm saying it in my head, sorry.
put that in there. She'd be like,
all right. What time is it?
1, 2, 3, 4. Artist corner. Artist corner.
Corner.
We're in the corner.
Uh-huh.
We're the artist.
What? Yeah.
All right. Is it my turn?
It's on me, I think, this week.
Yeah, it's your turn.
I'm at the blackboard.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, this week, I thought we could talk about documenting the process, not just the product.
Ooh,
Right?
this sounds so good.
And we're in a digital age. Like, it just is what it is. We talked earlier about digital archives. You have Instagram, you have TikTok. You can really curate things to memorialize and not memorize. What's the word? I can't think of the word.
Memorize?
No, there's like
Memorialize?
there's a term for it, but pretty much like souvenir it in the digital age. And so I think it's important to, and not necessarily say you have to put it out there, but there's something to be said for looking back on how you overcame things. And sometimes it could just be for you. Sometimes it can encourage other people. I know I love watching behind the scenes footage of stuff.
Yeah.
Like outtakes, cuts, all kinds of things. I think it humanizes it. It gives this kind of like authentic feeling to it to let people know.
Yeah.
And even let yourself know, like, you are overcoming obstacles, or you're doing it, or, you know, you did it once, you can do it again. And so I really loved thinking about the fact that, and this was honestly a word to myself as well as an artist, to start documenting in various ways, because I do a lot of writing and just different things and journaling. But I was like, I should probably start setting up like cameras or different things to be able to go back and look at my processes or see myself. And it also makes you comfortable looking at yourself and going through that process and knowing this is who you are and coming into it and being okay with it. So I feel like in whatever way you feel like a documentation can happen, because it can be various ways. You can journal, you can videotape, you can record. I used to have a recorder that I would walk around with and leave little notes to myself on, or go back and do different things like that. And I feel like I want to start doing that again. But yeah, I think it's it's refreshing and it just does something for you. I think back sometimes I go and look at old journal posts. Also, as a believer, it shows you the faithfulness of God. Because you'll write stuff down that the Lord gave you, and you'll go back into it, and you'll be like, you did that. Actually, God, you did that. You said that this is what was going to happen, and it did. And you did that. And so it's really refreshing. And I also feel like it helps you to keep your vision clear.
Yeah.
So that you don't, we talk a lot about the authenticity of it and keeping it pure and in realm of what you actually want the vision of what it was supposed to be and keeping it there. And so if you're writing consistently or you're documenting it, it allows you, because you're going to go through things in this world, things are going to happen, and life can skew you, it'll shift you, it can shift the way you think, the thought, your vision.
People will scandalize you.
People will date your ex. It's just
what that old lady said. She was like, and people would lie on you. She was.
Oh yeah. She was caught. The grandma who called it. Like, they'll lie.
She was putting the words together.
You like, yeah, you gotta love grandma. Like, girl, I get what you're saying, but what are you saying? But yeah, so you can go back and see it, and like I said, I just really feel like it is a good form of encouragement.
Yeah.
Because it teaches you. It's like, there's something mentally that happens when you get over an obstacle that tells yourself, if you did that hard thing, you can do another hard thing. I feel like shouting.
I want to do it.
Wish I had a tambourine. Yeah, there's something that happens. There's something that happens to you when you get over a hard thing, right?
You be thinking, like, I don't know how I'm gonna make
how is this hard thing gonna happen? How? I am literally between a rock and a hard place.
I don't see my way out. I don't see my way out. I don't know how I'm gonna get over this. But he brought you out.
And it don't even be a ladder. Sometimes it just be like divine intervention.
I wanna give him praise.
Yes. So this week's Artist Corner, I'm encouraging all of our artists out there to document your process, not just the finalized product, because there is value in looking at the work that led up to it.
Y'all don't feel the glory that's on this couch right now. It's blessing me. She trying to preach right now.
I'm trying to tell myself.
Document, because the Lord finna bless you. You're gonna look back.
You're gonna look back. I mean, and it's testament to other people too, right?
Yeah, that he brought you from a mighty long way.
It's one thing to say something and be like, yeah, the Lord do that. But when you have solid proof, like, hey, in 96 I wrote this down, right? You see this?
My God.
And we're in what year he did this?
Moni, he kept his word.
He kept his word. It could be a blessing. Honestly, I feel like your process could be a blessing for somebody else.
It'll be a testimony.
Yeah. Of what he'll do through your life, what you can create, what you're capable of.
Am I sensitive right now, or
Perhaps.
what? Because I feel the Lord. I am truly being blessed.
Well, good job.
Me. When I look back over my life and I see all of the things, man, I could have been dead and gone.
It really could have been me.
It could have been me. Outdoors with no food. For real. I got a praise in my spirit.
The Lord is really praise God. It really could have been.
Baby, when you done been through some things.
Baby.
And you think back.
People
reach around and you start thinking.
People be like, I don't understand. People just be going crazy at church. Because if you really just take a moment.
Just keep on living.
You can literally take off running. Like Usain Bolt.
Get out of my way.
Get out of my way.
Clear the aisles. I'm gonna turn a couple of flips.
If I could be real, I feel like we already animated as black people. So it's just like the glory of the Lord really takes it to another level. It's like you already want to throw your shoe at somebody if they singing good. or slap somebody if something's really preaching to you. So thinking about the goodness of Jesus, I become a whole track star.
Man, I
She's a
just
track
was
star.
forget. Excuse me. Excuse me.
That's okay, friend. That's okay. We gives room
Woo!
for glory, because he is worthy.
My grandma say, I get full. I get, oh my God. I just get full. I just, like, full of what? I just get full.
The glory. Not full of what?
Full of what?
Yes, y'all excuse us. Sometimes you just gotta give him the glory.
For real. I am blessed. I just going to die. I ain't never been so blessed. But you gotta look back and document and think.
Praise God. Praise
Okay.
God.
I'm done.
Make digital journals to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So along that same vein of sharing, I felt like this week we could talk about oversharing versus undersharing, and where that really sweet spot is. You know, learning healthy communication
Love that.
techniques, because first of all, you're never going to build genuine connection with people if you're not willing to open up.
Yes, so true.
Let's just start there. If there is a wall, here's the thing, right? Because you can be adverse sometimes. We have people go through things that is very real. You can be traumatized. You can have really had your trust in humanity broken.
Yeah.
My thing is, okay, you want to put up a wall. Probably shouldn't be there, but okay, I get it. Then you want people to climb the wall,
My God.
and as they're climbing the wall, you're throwing grenades over it. You got barbed wire at the top. You got snipers on the roof.
Talk about
You
it.
know what I mean? Like, da, da, da. You know what I'm saying? You want, and then you use that experience to try to logically say, this is why I don't let people in. Why are you putting people through the wringer like this and testing them and wanting them to jump through all these hoops? And then if they don't successfully do it, because we're human, people are going to fail you. Then you now want to say, well, this is why I don't open up to people anyway, because they just always let me down. You didn't even give them a chance to lift you up. How could they have let you down? Like, we have to start communicating. We have to learn that a relationship is two ways, or it's mutual. As someone's opening up to you, especially if they're opening up to you, obviously they're opening that door to say, I'm trusting you. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about oversharing versus undersharing and that sweet spot is because sometimes people can overload you very quickly. And then it's like, I don't even really know you like that. Like, we just
too
met.
much.
It's just a dump.
Pace it
I'm
out.
jumping me.
Pace it.
And I don't know about you. I've had a lot, and maybe it's just the God in me. I've had a lot of instances where people are like, I don't know, I just feel like I could just tell you stuff. And they just unload.
You do have that presence about yourself.
Yeah. And I get it. For some people, it's like, okay, you just do need a sounding board. You need somebody to vent to, which I'll listen. Sure. And I'm pretty much a Volt. I don't really share people's secrets. So, okay.
I've never heard anything come back to me in 20-something years.
Yeah.
Oh, Christian said this, that. You told her in confidence? Never.
No. I'm 99% sure. I never say 100, but I'm 99.9% sure that you will never hear that. Because I just don't.
Have you ever heard about that from me?
No, absolutely not. Nah. And you know, I'm
You hear that?
And you don't hear stuff. And I have never heard.
Confidant.
I've never heard somebody say, well, she said this about you, and you've never said it to me. You know what I mean? Like the talk behind the back. I'm a very big, if I say it to somebody else, I've probably already said it to your face.
I said it to your face.
If I think you're a jerk, I've told somebody else. I've told you to your face, and then I was like, yeah, that person's a jerk. But I get feeling safe, because some people, they just don't have safety.
Give that.
And so
you give that,
if they feel safe with you, I can get that. But it's also okay to be like, hey, you know, especially if you're building a community, you're building a relationship with someone, it's like, it's okay to be like, hey, okay, yeah, like let's slow it down.
You know, I used to be an oversharer.
Really?
And then I don't even know if it was overshare versus like over explain. Feel the need to
Maybe over explain, because I
explain.
don't know if overshare.
I want to
I
say
never got that from
overshare.
you.
I would say over explain myself because it was just over explaining is like almost a trauma response where you feel like you have to
It's like a
prove
validation.
and validate what you had to do and make people understand where you're coming from
Yeah,
so they
this
won't
is
be
why I felt
mad.
this way.
So they won't be mad at you. And like now I don't care. You feel how you
She
want to
really
feel.
doesn't. You feel
I
how you
can't
feel.
control how you feel
Yeah.
about me, like, and that's not my job and not responsible. Boundaries. Boundaries. Change your life. Get the book Boundaries. It'll change your life. I probably read about 3 or 4 of them because but it'll change your life. You don't feel the need to make someone understand why you're saying no or why you have to do XYZ. You don't owe them that. Just no. Just I don't choose to do that, and that's that. Why? Because I choose not
Because
to.
I choose not to. You know what that makes
And
me think about, just really quickly?
Mm-hmm.
How people always feel the need to tell their bosses why they're taking time off work.
I don't
But
have
you
to
don't
tell you
have
that.
to.
I'm not gonna be
It's
here.
my personal time. I'm taking it. Or even if it's not, I'm not going to be here. PTO, prepare the others. Is
And
what that
even when
stands
people
for.
ask me things now, I'm intentionally vague. I'm just like, I don't have to tell you that.
You know, it
For what reason?
oversharing can really create unnecessary roadblocks in your life that you don't
I
know
don't
about.
need all this extra. And but I created that by sharing with you information that you didn't need to have because I felt obligated to tell you something because of my own insecurities.
That's true.
And I'm not going to do that. I don't owe you that. I don't have to tell you
You
that.
don't. And for some people, I can admit that there probably have been times I feel like you have over explained things to me, and in my mind I'm like, she don't have to explain this to me.
Yeah,
I'm
I
okay.
can over explain
I'm okay.
because I want you to understand me and understand where I'm coming from.
like, okay.
Especially if I love you. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want you to understand me. But the fact is, I don't have to do that. And if I choose to do that, that's on me, but I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
think
you don't
that's so
have to do
good.
that.
I think
And I
that's really
think
good.
oversharing and all of that, over explaining yourself, you need to go get to the root. We always talk about that. Like, why?
There's always a root. There's always a root.
Why do you do that? Why do you make things more? Now they have something to say about you about it because you gave them that information.
Yeah.
They didn't have to know that information. Yeah, now you have to deal with their opinion because you shared it.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't share. You should have kept that to yourself.
Yeah, and we're in a day and age now where people everything's on the internet,
Oh
and
my
people feel
God,
the
it
need
drives
to
me
put
nuts.
everything out there, and it's like,
And then you're mad because people have something to say about it.
you
Well,
put
you
it out
should have
there.
not said anything.
It's literally called the World Wide Web. That is what WWW stands for. You going on Al Gore's internet and putting it out there for the literal whole entire 8 billion people around the world to see, and then you're upset
And then you're mad.
that people have something to say about it.
You shouldn't have shared it. If you don't want people to have an opinion or comment on it, keep it to yourself.
And this can go back to the artist corner of sometimes maybe you want to document your process and you're going
It's
through
just for
something,
you.
but maybe it's just for you. Maybe you shouldn't have to put it out there on the
yeah.
internet.
You shouldn't. And so I really feel that some things should be kept to yourself,
Yeah.
especially if it's something that it's in the process and you're still coming through it. Some things you just don't have to put out there. Just keep it to yourself, and then you can later share the journey. Oh, this is what I've been up to, if you choose to. But in the moment, like, you just don't need that extra. And then people asking you about stuff, and you're not ready to answer. And now you all frustrated and stressed out. It's just like you should have never said nothing.
Here's the thing. Every word you say now makes you accountable for it. Is what we need to. I think that's a healthy way to look at the way you communicate with people.
And you know why people overshare?
Why?
Because they want to have the approval and validation of people. That's why we overshare. We want the approval. We want the validation. We want the attention. We want the kudos. We want the congratulations. We want all that. And then when it goes left, you don't want anybody to say anything to you. Well, it's too late. You got to take it with the good with the bad.
Yeah, that is so true. That's good.
And if you're like, don't want all that extra, then just keep it to yourself. But if you keep it to yourself, you're not going to get the kudos and the validation and all of that.
Or the acceptance, especially like if you're trying to build a relationship with someone and it's like, I really want them to feel close to me. really quickly. So I'm just gonna pour. But I don't think that's healthy. Like, and I feel like, it just kind of, it goes back, we're believers, and I would be remiss without saying that the ability to talk to God about certain things keeps me from feeling the need to have to pour out my heart and soul to a variety of people. And this is to say you shouldn't confide in your friend. The Bible does say confess your sins one to another, and you know what I'm saying, you be healed, or communicating and being in the midst of
But
wise counsel.
we want the acceptance.
Yeah.
And when we share, and it's just like, oh, if I tell them this, that I'm doing this, maybe they'll think this of me and they'll accept me, or make me, it'll be pleasing to them, or all of that.
Make them see in a certain light.
Yeah, I don't need your validation. When you get to a point where you don't need other people's validation, you don't need them to say, oh, this is great, for you to know in your heart is great. You don't need people to cheer you on and all this other stuff. You are settled in yourself that God told you to do a thing, or God is with you, and that's enough. And the people that He calls you to do it with, that's enough. You will, the less likely you are to overshare, the less likely you are
the way
to
you communicate.
It 100%, because you used to feel obligated, and if I don't tell them this, and then when I do it, then they're gonna feel away. They're not involved. Why do you have to tell your family certain things? That's not what they're not involved.
Let's talk about the family. Let's talk about it.
Why do you have to tell your friends certain things that they're not involved? They'll just see it when they see it. Like, why do you have to get their approval for what you're called to do? You just don't need it.
And pay attention to the way that people respond when they feel like you haven't shared enough. There are appropriate responses and inappropriate responses, I feel like, because you can pop out and do certain things, and it's like, well, why you ain't telling about this, and and it's like, why did I have to?
It wasn't necessary.
It wasn't necessary. What would that have changed about me getting from point A to point B?
Nothing. Now, if you would have liked to know, you would have liked to know. That's just a thing, and that's I understand that.
And that has nothing to do with me.
It's just you would have liked to know, and you just didn't know. And it's just, you don't owe people a lot of things we put on ourselves.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
We just put it on ourselves. Like, it didn't have to be this chaos that it is. You could have kept that to a minimum by keeping your mouth closed.
Yeah. Man, that's a statement. That hit me a little after you said it. You could have avoided a lot of things. And I know it's really buzzy to talk about this right now, but there are certain things as monitoring spirits. And there are just people who want to know.
Just want to know.
And
they're just going to create more chaos.
And create chaos, or ensue jealousy and envy.
Yeah.
And
now you're the topic of conversation just because they don't got nothing else to talk about. Yeah. And when you could have just kept your stuff, and they'll see it after the fact, after it's already done.
You have to know and trust people when you're communicating certain things. There are healthy boundaries you can have. Mm-hmm. And even if you are close to people and you have people in your friend groups, that doesn't mean everyone in the friend groups knows all the same stuff.
That don't mean that.
And that's okay.
That don't mean that.
That's okay, I think.
Yeah.
Everybody don't have to know everything.
Yeah. But what about the people that undershare? That
just never say anything.
They just keep it.
It's like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm okay. Okay.
You ever? I heard a girl I was at work, and a girl was talking to me about a situation. She was like, yeah, I have this friend. She want to know all my business, but she don't never tell me nothing about herself. And I was like, she's like, so I stopped telling her stuff.
Yeah. I wonder how that relationship changed when she did that.
Because you want to know my stuff, but you don't want to be vulnerable about your stuff.
There are some people who like mess. It makes them feel good. It's kind of along the same lines of how you like to watch reality TV sometimes, because it make you feel a little bit better about your life. It's like, I'm a mess, but I'm not that much of a mess. So it's kind of the same, like, oh, I like to hear what people are going through. It makes kind of make you feel good. Mm-hmm. I get that. Or you're
just nosy,
you're nosy. Some people just like to gossip. Gossiping is a real thing for some people. It's a real
for sure
stronghold over some people. I think you definitely need to pay attention to those instances where you feel like you're always vulnerable and open,
and the other person's
never saying anything.
And you need to ask yourself, because maybe they're not saying anything for a reason. There are relationships that I have had in the past where I just don't tell people stuff. Same. Because you have not proved to be a confidant. We had a whole show on like being a confidant. Like, you tell people business.
Yeah.
Let's call a thing a thing.
You tell people business.
So once I figured out,
you
that
told me
tell
such
people,
and such business. So why am I tell you my business? So you can go tell such and such.
once I figured out that you tells people's business, I don't tell you my business.
It only takes one time.
One time. And I move accordingly. We talked about this other episode. A snake is gonna snake. A tiger is gonna tiger. If you know, why are you surprised?
Y'all acted shocked for people being who they said they were. It showed you who they were.
They're until they're ready to change and they see the error of their ways and they say, you know what, they make a conscious decision like I did last episode to make a conscious decision to be on time.
I would just like to tell the audience that Tarrah was on time. I mean early actually today. To be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. To be late is unacceptable. She has taken that mantra. I feel like.
And I want to thank my friend for telling me the truth. If you want to hear that conversation,
it came out another way. It came out of nowhere. If I'm being honest,
it was the conviction of the Holy Ghost. I said, I know conviction when I hear it. I know a spanking when I get. I said, I receive it
in love.
In love, because she did it in love. She presented her examples and her case. She said, and this is why you need to be on time, because you can't be on time. I seen you do it, but you choose not to.
It's about your value system,
and you're putting yourself above others, and it's not right.
Those weren't my words, but
that's what I got from it. You're saying you can make somebody else wait, but you can't wait.
I'm glad that you got that in love.
I did. Love. You did a great job. I mean, if you want an exemplary conversation about how to call your friends out on their stuff to help them be a better person, go watch last episode, because the way this is why she's my best friend, okay? The way she broke that down to me, like elementary teacher. Okay, let's say that you have an event. I was like, I'm going with it. She broke that down, and I was like, I'm forever changed by this conversation. She got me all the way to. It was the Holy Ghost.
Was the Holy Spirit, because I was like, okay, I don't know where this
she wasn't letting me off the hook.
It just kept coming. I didn't know where it was going.
She was not. I was like trying to be like, maybe it's because I'm from Chicago. Maybe it's because of this. Maybe it's because of that. And it was like, yeah, and so.
Yes,
and in addition, you still need to do better. And I was like, you know what? I can do better. And I care about my friends, and I want to not offend them.
I appreciate that. You really showed that today.
And I really did my best.
You did great. You've done great. I appreciate it. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
You got yourself together.
I tried.
Try.
I put in some effort, but
a healthy amount of sharing. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. I think this week's homework should be, I want you all to write down the last thing you shared with someone, and the last I would say what you would consider significant. Something that meant a lot to you, that you shared with someone, and something significant that someone last shared with you. And I really want you to think about, because I'm going to leave you with this. We talked about how sometimes you don't share and you're like, because you have not proven yourself to be a confidant. Maybe you are that person. Maybe you're thinking about, people really don't share with me. Why is that?
Why is that?
Have you presented yourself as a safe space? Have you presented yourself worthy of confidential information?
Do you throw it back in their face?
Do you throw it back? That is good. That's good. Do you, man, oh man. And I'm going to say this to our women out there. When men are vulnerable, do not throw it back in their face. Because I'm telling you, I cannot count how many times I've heard a man say, yeah, and I told a woman this, and she threw it back, and in my mind, I was like, and I'll never do that again.
And I'll never do it again. Yeah.
But do you wait to use it as arsenal? Like we have talked about. Like constructive versus destructive criticism. Are you just holding on? Are you gossiping about it? Do you just like drama?
Do you tell your mom all his business? Do you tell your best friend all his business? And let's talk about pillow talk. Just because that's your spouse, I don't think you should be telling your friend's business to your spouse. I don't think that.
I don't think that either. And I don't think you should be telling your friends you and your spouse's business.
I don't
because
think that.
Here's the thing. Even in just romantic relationships, period, you're going to forgive that person
And
9 times out of 10. And the people you have told about these harsh things that they've done, they're still mad.
They're still mad. They're still very much mad.
Because they don't have the level of love you have for this person. You have to understand the dynamics of a relationship.
Yeah.
Like,
if
this
you
is
tell
your
me
boo.
he cussed you out, I'm still mad.
Man, what?
I don't care that he rubbed your back last night. I got a problem.
Get that blinkety blank out here. I got a problem.
I got a problem. So, yeah, you need some stuff you need to just keep to yourself. And some stuff, you know, with the right people, you share. That's why you have therapists. You know, some of y'all need therapy.
Let's just keep it a buck.
I've been to therapy multiple times. So some of us, we need therapy. Stop telling. You are looking for a confidant. You're looking for someone to not tell your business. And maybe you don't have a person in your life that you can really share to the degree that you want to share.
Yeah.
And they have the skills to be able to support you. You keep getting hit with you know, EQ is not, emotional intelligence is not on every street corner. It is not as
And a lot of people are emotionally intelligent blind. They don't even know that they don't even know
that's a thing. So when you try to come to them with your heavy things, they don't have it for you.
Yeah.
You can't get what's the saying? You can't get blood from a turnip. What is it?
I think it's water from a turnip, blood from turnip.
Girl, I don't know. But anyway, y'all get what I'm saying. You can't get, they don't have capacity. Yeah. They don't have capacity for you. And so you probably need, if you keep running to this wall, it's like, I don't have anybody I can trust. I don't have anyone to talk to. You need a therapist.
That's really
you need someone to talk to process things, to process your past, to process your childhood with. You know, you need help. And you're constantly triggered and traumatized because you still have never processed and dealt with this pain and all the things, because you don't have a safe person you could do that with. And you might need to pay someone to keep your secrets.
You might need a professional.
You might need a professional where if they tell your stuff, they're going, you know, they're getting their license taken.
License revoked. And their job is over.
You know, maybe you don't have that, but you need that experience, and you might need to see a professional. And here's my thing. By the time you about 30 years,
you got enough.
You got enough to talk to somebody about. Maybe in this world, you might be having at 25.
At your 20, at 22, 23, maybe.
But at least by 30, you got enough that you probably need to talk to somebody about. And so if this is your sign. If you've been contemplating therapy and you're like, oh, should I do it? Do it. It's so helpful. Yeah. I know so many people that were so adverse to it. And when they finally did, they were like, man, I didn't even know. I wish I would have done it sooner. I had no idea that I thought that way. It was like in the subconscious, down below the surface, driving a lot of their actions. And they didn't have any kind of awareness that was what was happening. So you might need therapy, and it really will help you in your relationships.
I think so, for sure.
With yourself and with your friends.
Stop oversharing, for sure.
Oh, yeah, because you're like, you have the confidence, you know. You're like, I don't have to do this.
You're so right.
Yeah.
You're so right. Some things you do just need to get off your chest. And you just may need to say that to a trusted professional.
Yes.
Who can, sometimes, I knew someone who went to therapy. And not to say that their therapist didn't help and give advice and stuff. But they solely just needed to get certain things out their chest.
They literally needed somewhere
to offload this safely.
Yes.
And they felt so much better after
So much better.
So therapy is not just to fix you or do all these kind of things. And I am appreciative now that therapy is getting the respect that it deserves, and it's not looked at as foo-foo or what it used to be. They are real doctors.
You know, people back in the day, they just didn't deal. They didn't
deal.
They
didn't think they had the capacity or the
they didn't have time.
For a lot of people,
surviving.
They didn't feel like
Our parents were surviving.
The luxury of dealing.
Yes.
I don't have the time. I'm in survival. I got families to feed.
They were just surviving.
Yeah.
So they didn't have an opportunity to stop and address the trauma.
Yeah.
You know, the traumatizing situations they went through. So they just took a licking and kept on ticking. Yeah. You know, they just kept it moving.
Their parents did it. So
they never barely grieved a loss. You know. Went through all these things, never addressed it, and just stuffed it down. And if you don't deal with it, it will start dealing with you.
It'll deal with you.
It truly will.
And so it's something to be said. I know we said we were gonna wrap up, but that was so good. I really wanted to just hear that completely out. But something happens when you speak things out loud.
Yeah.
It changes.
Oh,
It changes
man.
situations. So some things need to be said.
They really do. They need to be said.
They need to
You
be
know, you don't
shared.
even know you feel that way. I remember I had a breakthrough in therapy and I was like talking about somebody very close to me. And I had no idea I felt that way.
Wow.
Like I said something out of my mouth, and when I said it, I was like,
Wow.
it was like
Wow.
the little me, young me was speaking, which she never gets to come out.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like, you know,
Tarrah.
little
She's
T.
so sweet with her big hair.
You know, it was just like you don't know what's in there until you get it to a place where you have the freedom to open up. And usually in therapy, it takes about 3 to 4 times.
Yeah, it takes a couple of times.
You like, it's not until like probably your 4th, 5th session that
And
you finally.
it may take you 2 or 3 therapists.
Yeah,
Depending.
where you're finally able. So, you know, I just want to encourage everyone to go to you a lot of times don't even know you feel the way you feel. It's just way deep in the subconscious that only comes up when you start talking about it and you have the freedom to cry and you're not embarrassed and you're not. A lot of us grew up and you were embarrassed to cry. When you cry, you always say you're sorry. I'm sorry, because crying was shameful. Emoting was shameful. Like emoting was a shameful like experience for you. And so
which is so crazy. We're human
it's
beings.
crazy. It's like big boys don't cry or stop all that crying and you know all that type of stuff. And so you know, especially black parents.
So
fix your face. You know,
Fix
it's
your-
just
or you beat me. What you crying for? I'm gonna give you something to cry about.
I'm gonna get shut up before I give you something to cry about. So you shut. As a kid, you don't know that that's just a saying, right? Shut up before I give you something to cry about. You don't know that that's just like a euphemism. Like they mean it, but not really. You know,
Kids don't have that understanding. They just take your word for what it is.
So it's just like you learn to shut up your cry, and that is unhealthy.
Very much so.
So it's
Very
just
much
like so when you cry now you're ashamed, and now you like won't allow yourself to emote and grieve and feel the sadness that you need to feel so you can deal with the problem. You shut that down, and so you can't deal with your feelings.
Yeah.
You know, and Jesus wept.
Jesus wept. That is
Whole
a
verse, period.
Whole verse, period. That is
You
a
know,
whole verse.
it's not evil to weep. It's not evil to have emotions. Like, it's not wrong. Like, that's a part of the human experience. That's the way that we deal. And so, yeah, you need to feel. And so, you know, in a lot of households, you weren't able. So it's different to sit in front of someone and have the freedom to weep, the freedom to cry, the freedom to feel about things that you really kind of have been trained not to be able to do. You know, not having, maybe you don't have a safe space. Maybe you were trained not to feel your feelings. Maybe you were trained not to cry because it was shameful. You know, maybe, you know, you were picked on for being a crybaby in the family or the dramatic one or whatever. So it's just important that, you know, you have somewhere where you can deal with those things so you can get to the root of why you do the things you do. It's one thing you'd be like, man, I do overshare. I should just stop it. But the most important thing is to figure out why you do that. Where's that coming from? Why? And deal with the root of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That's so good. God plus therapy.
That part.
So, you all heard earlier, but again, your homework assignment is to write down the last significant thing you shared with someone and the last significant thing someone shared with you. Or if they haven't, try to think about why nobody's sharing significant things with you. And alongside that, because we just had the conversation about therapy and really being able to get things off your chest, I want you to think about the last time you wanted to share something and you didn't. Why? Think about why. So we're so glad we had this time together. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Friendship University podcast, and we'll see you next week. Peace.